It's kind of improv, isn't it? Improv.
Yeah. Our term is winging it.
Our term is winging it. And are we live yet? Are we live yet?
Oh yeah.
We've had the countdown as we discuss movies and warming up for movies. Let's wait for a few people to come and join us. Hopefully it's all.
We've had the confirmation from the Losatron that we are live.
Definitely, yeah.
He hasn't given me my line today, so there's a possibility that I'm going to answer questions from last week's again.
We're live. There we go. We always like to see if we're live. Happy days. Great stuff. Hey everyone. I hope you're well, and I hope you had an awesome Easter. Another Tuesday tune-in. Do drop us a comment if you've joined us. Hey Ramona. Hey James. Hey Kelly. If you have joined us, give us a little thumbs up. Maybe how you're feeling today, because I know you can put some emotions on there. Add an emoji, a comment, even how many eggs you had off the Easter Bunny. Whatever it is, say hello. Great to be on today. We've had a nice long weekend. It's been a bit mad though. We've lots of weather. I've been down West Wales. Dave has had a haircut even. I mean, saying that, so have I.
It's a bit shorter than I was anticipating, but it's strange, when you go a year without a haircut and you start to think of that hair as like a protective barrier, and now it's gone. But
it's like Samson. Remember Samson with his hair? You've kind of, Dave, I have to be honest, and it'd be interesting. Some comments around Dave's hair would be, what does everyone think?
Hit me as hard as you can.
Forum now. It's all about this live is all about Dave's hair. Personally,
I'll be honest. The reviews have been a bit of a mixed bag. Some people say it's better. Some people miss the longer hair. But I don't have a preference.
Well, Dave, personally, mate, I think it looks great. I think it takes about 7 years off you at least. I think you now look like one of the younger Yetis. So, looking good, mate. Looking good.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Suman. Different Suman. I'm not. It is Suman who actually was with me the very first time I ever went to EBC.
Oh, really? Is that Suman? Nice. And I think Anuj is on here as well, actually. Hey, Anuj. Namaste, mate. Namaste. And namaste to everyone. I hope you're well. And today, so... I know Dave sort of posted email earlier, and I know in the Facebook group as well around, what will travel look like? Or Dave, what was it again? Sorry, mate. What was it? When will we be able to travel again?
When we will be able to travel again. And the first thing is, I want to say, we haven't been told yet, but we've got. But basically, we do have some insights, and we've had a lot of questions recently. Particularly because we were supposed to have an announcement. When was it? Yesterday? I don't know. Day before. And they never really gave the announcement. So now it's next week. So we're having it's just been a lot of questions. And I've asked a lot of questions. Like I was talking to Andy the other day, saying like, "Am I allowed to go to Scotland now? Where can I go?" And we were working this out. So we thought, well, everyone else is going to be going through the same stuff, the same thoughts, the same questions with regards to international travel. So we thought, we just offer some of our insights, some of our advice. And hopefully, provide a little bit of a peace of mind, a little bit of a comfort blanket so you can not panic about international travel anymore. Because I don't know about you guys, but my wires are a bit frayed with international travel and the worry. I just want it to be over so we can start traveling. But it's not. So
exactly. I think Mark, it'll be a short live then. Probably not, mate. It's like we talk about one subject and then it's... Dave would be talking about equipment as always. But Dave makes a good point there. And, I know over the last 12 months, we've all been itching hard to get away, out to Nepal, to Tanzania, South America. And look, guys, we always want to be open and transparent with you. And as soon as we know anything, we obviously want to share it with you. We thought we might have had an update from Bojo yesterday. But luckily it was a political sort of... not yet. We'll let you know about that traffic light system, and as soon as obviously they let that out, we have a bit of an idea. Certainly from a UK perspective, anyway, in terms of what travel's going to look like. But look, we've said this many times about planning for when we can. That's still our motto, and still what we're working towards. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, we've had heaps of people who are booking in to join us on future adventures. I know a lot of you have been with us and EverTrekkers anyway. I know some of you on the live who aren't EverTrekkers yet, and maybe that you've got some questions, burning questions around travel. do get those questions in, guys. We've got a few that have come in beforehand, so we'll tackle those straight off as well when we talk a little bit about travel. And then, as always, any question around any of our trips, anything and everything, even if it's about Dave's haircut, then do chuck it in the comments. All right,
well,
guys?
to be fair, Marika, who is the competition winner, says she likes my haircut. So thank you very much, Marika.
Sorry, Mark. Very good, guys. Okay, Dave. So where should we start then? So international travel always comes down to whether you're allowed into a country or out of a country, right? At the moment, UK, we're not really allowed out of it. Technically, I mean, if you can go for work, there's some countries, there's countries on red lists. I think we've all heard words and learned things that we never thought we'd hear before around the pandemic, But yeah, essentially that's where it starts. And I certainly look at other countries, like I don't know if anyone on here is from the US, but it seems to me that travel is a bit freer from the US. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear some comments if anyone is on the live from the US, from other countries outside the EU, not EU, sorry, getting on that again, outside of the UK.
That's another issue, mate. That's another issue.
That's another live. Whoops, Freudian slip there. But yeah, what is it like outside of the UK? Because we're always interested, and although we keep our ears to the ground and we want to know, we're interested to hear from sort of outside the UK what it's like. We know that there's a lot of people who are actually in Nepal right now. I think Anuj, we've been messaging, and there's people out there climbing Everest, and we know they're able to get there with strict sort of COVID guidelines. But it'd be interesting to sort of hear other people's thoughts on that and maybe how they are getting there. Whilst we are under lockdown essentially. Although in Wales, we're allowed to have haircuts now, which is great. I never thought we'd be able to have haircuts over the gym, but that's another story. Hopefully be very, very soon. I know England is coming out of lockdown, very, very soon. I know a lot of people from England here. I know we get a lot of people from Scotland, Northern Ireland. I know it's very different in the UK, but hopefully not too long. So yeah, Dave, where should we kind of start off then, mate, on the live today?
Yeah, so with regards to, I think, international travel, so
yeah,
I suppose like a little sort of roundup of where we're at the moment. So at the moment, it's one of those things where we've postponed our spring season, largely because normally we have treks going in March, April, May. Clearly, it's in April now, so I think we made the right decision not sort of sending people. In order for us to be able to run our trips sort of securely and safely and give you guys enough notice to get things like flights, insurance, equipment, and everything. Obviously, we don't want to say, right, okay, scramble to the airport, you're going in a week. So we made the call to not go on the spring. I think autumn, is looking positive, actually. A lot of the news coming out now is, they're talking by the end of the year that, travel will be possible. And some people are even talking about May. And then there's a couple of ways that it's going to work. So one thing they have talked about is COVID passports. Who knows if that's going to happen? Certainly a lot of opposition for it. The other one is the traffic light system that they've kind of already got in already. Yeah. So that basically, if it's green, you're free to travel. I'm not entirely sure what amber means. And if it's red, if it's red, basically, if it's red, I think it means you can still go there, but when you come back, you have to quarantine for 10 days in a hotel and pay 1,800 quid for the privilege. So at the moment, sort of one of our main countries, Tanzania, is on the red list, but we don't anticipate that that's going to be a permanent thing. We anticipate that that's going to change as the vaccinations are sort of being rolled out. So yeah, really positive for the autumn season this year. Fingers crossed that's going to hopefully go ahead. And then I think looking forward from then on, to be honest with you, a lot of the news and a lot of the articles that are coming out at the moment, the airlines, the politicians, they all want things to pick up again. And that's why people are talking about COVID passports. Personally, I think if it means that we can travel, then I'm all for it. I'll vote for it. I'm sure that there's like I said, to me, my main thing is I want us to go out there. I want us to be able to travel freely. And I've already jumped through sort of loads of bureaucratic hoops like visas over this country and, all sorts of stuff. So to me, it's just another little thing I've got to sort out. So hopefully that's going to be the case.
Yeah, exactly, David. And that's leaving a country. I think entries into most countries, I mean, Nepal, Tanzania, Peru, Morocco, they all need us. They all need more people to go out there to help the country get back on its feet, wherever that is. But, the big countries, we kind of have, I'd say 85, 90% of our clients and of our EverTrekkers are obviously Nepal, historically, and then Tanzania moving forward. Obviously the other countries will catch up, but essentially Nepal is ready. They want us. I mean, Anuj is on here now. He can't wait to welcome our EverTrekkers in Kathmandu, and that's going to be September onwards now. We're kind of we accepted that a while back, and look, it's going to be a great autumn. We're super excited. I mean, you can't guarantee everything, but we kind of got a good gut feeling about the autumn. And that's what we're planning, working towards right now. So yeah, we're really excited, guys. Tanzania, as Dave said, it's on the red list. Although they want us in there, it does mean there's some issues getting back. Although that does change all the time, and as soon as we know anything around that, guys, we'll obviously let you know. Any questions around this over the next sort of month or so as well, because there will be some changes over the next month. Drop it in, and we can obviously discuss that together. Or drop us an email like always. But so we got that. So we got leaving the country, entering a country. What are the other blockages, Dave? I mean, I know that like some people in transit countries seem to be a bit of a pain right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Qatar being one of them, and Kenya another one, right?
Yeah, so Qatar probably is the thorniest one for us, because we obviously transit through there a lot, because Qatar are probably one of the best airlines to use. One good thing about Qatar is that, like, the country itself, like, obviously it's quite a wealthy country, so it's able to tackle things like this. So very positive that actually Qatar, particularly because of their national airline and stuff, will be going at that red list, and try and getting themselves removed from it by putting in whatever they need to, by lowering the numbers, vaccinations and things like that. So hopefully very confident that will be a temporary thing. I think the other places on there are not too much of a concern for us. There are a few other South American countries and things like that, but I think in the course of time anyway, those will start to free up. Obviously, the red list is kind of out of our control, out of anyone's control, really, with regards to virus numbers. And I know it's different around the world with regards to how they're vaccinating people, but overall, I think the trend is that those countries will eventually come off. So that's looking very positive. Some of the other concerns, I think, are about visas. Someone's already asked a couple of questions here. So visa, should you have to get one before you go? So I think it's good practice now anyway, regardless of where you're going and under what circumstances, to get the visa before you travel. So particularly in Nepal and Tanzania, you can get visa on arrival. Me and Andy have done both. So we've got visas on arrival and we've got them beforehand. And this is pre-COVID, and I can tell you that it is much, much easier to get it beforehand. It only takes about a week. So I sent my passport off on a Monday, and I think I got it back on a Thursday, visa in hand. That was for Nepal, and I think roughly the same amount of time for Tanzania. The difference is that when you arrive this applies to Tanzania and Nepal, because the process is pretty much identical. You arrive off the plane, you walk into a visa hall. It's probably not air conditioned, but even if it is, there's about not just you, but other planes as well. So there could be 200 people in that room, all queuing and getting a visa. It's just not what you want after a long haul. So my advice is always get it beforehand. Always give yourself probably at least a month in advance, because you can get them, you can predate them in advance. So you don't have to get them like right up when you go. Get them about a month before you go. So that gives you loads of time, just in case there is a little to and fro in and stuff like that.
I think, Dave, I think also as well with COVID, instead of hanging around those 200 people, it is a lot easier if you're one of the ones that can get straight through. Minimizes that contact, doesn't it? So getting them beforehand is definitely advantageous. And I know that, we're going to have to live with COVID as we move forward. But if we can minimize the sort of contact there, it's going to help. Certainly.
That's a really good point, actually. Really good point. Those visa halls who have shoulder rubbing, like, with people in front of you, behind you. So it is tricky. But and I think one other thing with the visas, I did notice something in the group a little while ago, the High Altitude EverTrekkers group, about people asking where to get the visa from. Go to that government's website. You know, it's got to be
Yeah.
direct. There's no point going through a third party. They charge you more and it takes longer.
Yeah.
Go direct to the government website, print off the instructions. With Nepal, I had to send off like a postal order, which I've never done before in my life. But you had to go
I've
to
done one of those for
office,
like 20 years.
yeah, exactly. But to be fair, if you live near London or you fancy a trip to London, you can go into the embassy in Kensington and you can be in and out in half an hour with a visa. So it's a really easy thing to do. The Tanzania one, it's all done online, and you have to send off some photographs and things like that you submit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's all straightforward stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah.
I think whilst we're on visas, I know Marika, who was our competition winner for a couple of weeks ago, was asked around the Tanzanian e-visa service. It doesn't always work. To be honest, I've never heard that, Marika. I've never heard anyone having any issues. If anyone on here has any issues or experience to share, we've never seen any issues from our EverTrekkers, ourselves personally. If you are applying and you're having difficulties, get in touch with us and we'll see what we can help. We can maybe liaise with some of our on-the-ground team in Tanzania and see what they suggest. Normally, if you're trying to get an e-visa, it's more of them having a process rather than a criteria, unless you're coming from a really, really unsafe zone. I know that they've had an issue going back years ago with yellow fever.
Yeah.
People coming in, you had to have a yellow fever vaccination. It's not really an issue anymore, but I know years ago it used to be a thing. But yeah, so let us know any issues around that, guys. But Marika, just to answer your question off the bat there, we don't know of any issues
No.
for any EverTrekkers.
It was really easy when I got mine. With Nepal, you have to post your passport off. So, sending it like special delivery, recorded, tracked, armed guard, however you want to do it. It's totally fine. But I actually just renewed my passport and it only took me a week. Nice. And actually that's because I lost my previous one. I have no idea where it is. So I actually had to register it as lost and get a new one, and within a week that was fixed. So yeah.
Awesome.
So a lot of people still asking about visas when you arrive. If you get the visa before Nepal, do you still have to queue up on arrival? No, not really. So you might have to queue in like 3-4 people, just while they stamp it like you normally would. But the queuing in the visa hall is for like the machines, the paper that you got to fill out. Then you got to queue to pay, and then you got to queue again to get through customs. So honestly, just get it beforehand. It's so much easier.
Exactly. So a bunch of questions coming through, which is great. And as I said earlier, guys, I know a few people have joined us now. We've got some good numbers today as well, which is great. Definitely post some comments in there with your questions. But Dave, should we start the questions? We've got quite a few now coming in from Lauren on WhatsApp. First off, I got Andrew Davis. When should I book my flight to Kili in October, and what is the best route to fly? Yeah, so Andrew, good question. When should you book your flight? I mean, you can do that anytime now. If you go in October, you're talking it's a good time. I mean, there might be reduced availability. There might be increased availability. It could go both ways at the moment. So if you want to get that flight locked in terms of best route, we mentioned Qatar Airlines earlier. They're an airline that we recommend and we've used loads of times. I recommend going to a flight comparison website like Skyscanner, momondo.co.uk, having a look what flights are available, having a look what airlines are running, and then go directly to their website and book directly with the airline. And you can do that now. It's not a problem. I know Qatar especially, I think a lot of companies, airlines are following suit, is that you can actually reschedule your flight for free, essentially, if there's if it's related to COVID delays. So yeah, definitely look that up, Andrew, and get your flight booked in. By October, Kili is ready and waiting for you, mate.
Yep, awesome. So Dean Lloyd, hey guys, book for you for Kili, 27th for the 8th till the 6th. I'm guessing it's best to book travel on the 25th.
Yeah.
August 22. Any comments welcome? So you've booked from the 27th of August till the 6th of September. So okay. So you want to book your flight leaving the UK on the 26th to arrive in Tanzania on the 27th, and then you want to book your flight to leave Tanzania on the 6th. So unless you want any extra days to do like a safari or anything like that, that's totally fine. But yeah, always leave the day. So day one of the trip, which is the 27th, that's your arrival day. Takes time to arrive, so leave the day before.
Sorry, Dave, I'm getting sidelined by all these haircut questions. A few people have had a few
Questions?
nice comments. I got to be honest, more like comments, not questions. Seren actually says, "Wow, Dave looks like a different guy."
Thanks very much.
I agree. Yeah. Who is this? Who is this guy who's joined us on our lives? Can't believe
it feels totally different. You'd be amazed how cooler it is. You know, like, and I don't mean that as in like sort of, you know, cool. I mean temperature-wise is what I'm talking about. You know, like,
you got to be careful, Dave, because I think it's snowing outside, isn't it? I think it's snowing.
Brilliant.
Sorry,
as if by magic. As if by magic.
Sorry, I couldn't resist but do that. It was actually snowing outside here, but I'm going to switch that off because we've had enough snow. Actually, there's never enough snow, but I couldn't resist doing that.
Yeah.
Right, Dave. What next, mate? I know we've got just bringing the questions up. Can you see any off the bat, mate?
I can, mate. Yeah. So, Alive Millard. I don't know whether that. It's Alive. Alive Millard. Nice, cool name. I'm sorry if that's Alive or Alive. I was lucky enough to win one of the prizes. Awesome. And was wondering if you're planning to do this with someone else who wanted to book separately. You hope there's enough space on the trip. So booking. Should I mention we want individually pay or use our own spaces? Any tips on this would be awesome. So basically, you're booking yourself and you want to bring someone else with you. Do you have to mention that you're booking separately or not? To be honest, it depends how you book it. If both of you book individually, then you can both be responsible for, you know, how you want to set it up, you know, whether it's monthly payments or whatever. But to be honest with you, we're always very flexible. And even though we have like thousands of people, we try to deal with everyone's circumstances individually. So if you both book individually, but one of you wants to kind of lead it and manage the payments and stuff, all you got to do is drop us an email, give us a call or anything like that. More than happy to help in any circumstance. So basically the answer is whichever way you want to do it, we'll kind of accommodate you. So that's all good.
Yeah, nice. I just got some good points there. With Malcolm asked, thanks for your regular contact. He's not on Facebook, but watches these on YouTube, so that's great. Yeah, we do upload them to YouTube and our podcast. If you're listening or watching on either of those platforms, we hope that you're finding them informative. Your only concerns at the moment, travel, whether EBC trip will go ahead. I know you're going early September. Do you think the TNC on flights will cover cancellations due to destinations, restrictions, visitors due to COVID? Yeah, Malcolm, I mean, you definitely have to check directly with who you booked with. I mean, with us, mate, as you know, if anything does happen, you can obviously move your trip anytime for free. But yeah, definitely check. I mean, if you book directly with an airline, I don't see an issue. I know during COVID, most of the while they've been good. Some horror stories I know we've had in terms of refunds that take a while from certain airlines, like 6 months or more, which is mad, really. But yeah, I definitely check your T&Cs. I wouldn't like to comment on 100% yes. I'm sure they'd be fine, but definitely check with your airline, Malcolm. I hope that helps.
Awesome. So yeah, Ospin Sampani has asked, basically, do we know if there's going to be any quarantine when you arrive in Kathmandu this year? So basically, I've had word from Kathmandu, from our head of ops over there in news, that the quarantine for travelers on arrival is no longer in effect. So you have to have a negative test within 72 hours of arrival, and then they carry out another sort of PCR test on you on arrival. If that comes back positive, you will have to quarantine until you test negative. But if it is negative, as it should be, then that's totally fine, and you're free then to carry on as normal. It should be said though as well that obviously all the countries that we go to tend to have different ways of dealing with COVID, but we're dealing with it the EverTrek way, and so are all of our team and all of our guys in country. So in terms of like masks, distancing where we can, obviously it's going to be difficult for the group to socially distance, you are going to be classed as almost a bubble, if you will, but we will try and limit any sort of potential risk factors where we can. So masks will be there, hand sanitizer, all of that stuff will be in effect. All of the things that you're used to in the UK will pretty much be in effect when you're in these countries as well.
Yeah, exactly. I know someone asked the question around single tents. I think it was Lee actually. Sorry, Lee, if I'm sure it was yourself. You asked, what about when you're there? Will there be single tents still for Kili? Yeah, that's it. That's our plan going forward. Normally, it used to be pre-COVID that you'd have to share with someone else, but we got the option where you can have single tents now. You get your own tent. Happy days. Just to again limit the sort of contact really between people. That's just for Kili guys. But yeah. Just to answer your question there, Lee, I did see it come in. Lewis is on here as well. Lewis, great to see you on, mate, as always. A couple of questions around Nepal, I think. Is it on the red list? And what if you're fully vaccinated? Yeah, Nepal currently isn't on the red list as far as we know, and that's changed in the last day or so. But yeah, if you're fully vaccinated, I know Dave said around getting a test. I think they're bringing in that if you are vaccinated, again, that does mean that you wouldn't have to quarantine on arrival. There are some, again, it could change, and correct me there, guys, but I remember seeing that or speaking to Anuj. I will double check that 100%, but if you have been vaccinated or you've had a test within 72 hours, then you wouldn't have to quarantine. I think those are the kind of the rules. But again, as we know with any government, including Nepal, they do like to change at the drop of a trilby hat, guys. So yeah, we'll obviously let you know with that one. Right, Dave. What's the next one, mate? Next question.
So Kirsty Ambo, you asked about the Tanzania visa issue. So yep, I think we've already covered it. John the Bald. Yeah, he's asked, why am I happy to wear my glasses on the live, but not when I'm working on my bike with him? It's because I can't read the questions. They're really tiny. And when I'm working on my bike with you, I prefer to take a back seat and hold the torch while you do most of the work. But Tina Barrett has asked Bhutan on the trek list. To be honest, Bhutan is a very, very interesting prospect. It's a little tricky to travel in, would you believe? Because I think you have to get sort of a minimum number of groups. It's very expensive because your visa requires you to pay, it might be $100 a day or something like that. The last time we looked into it, it seemed like it was too tricky, but entry requirements and visas for Bhutan does change all the time. Luckily enough, obviously, our head of ops Anuj, he knows a lot about Bhutan. Obviously, he's been there. So It is definitely on the radar. Hopefully, we'll be bringing some out soon. To be honest, historically, right at the beginning, we used to do it. But then it changed, and we're basically waiting, so it's the right time.
We've got a lot of new trips. Sort of we'll be releasing soon. We got another couple. Excuse me. We just had the Ring of Fire trek last couple of weeks, which is going down a storm. I got to be honest, people loving that, and we can't wait to get out there and run that. But we will be releasing the other ones. Another one in Argentina, another one in Nepal, and then a little closer to home. Elbrus isn't a mile away either. So yeah, we certainly got a couple that we're looking, and then with Bhutan as well, we're certainly looking to do that. It's been a bit little difficult with Bhutan over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. It's getting better, but tourism is definitely growing there. But yeah, we'll be able to run trips there before long. I mean, when it comes to that, guys, we'll definitely let you know with Bhutan, that's for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Kim Lawley getting old, Dave. I am. Well, at least my eyes are. To be honest, my right knee got old about 10 years ago, and now my eyes are catching up. Yeah, so yeah, it's only distance, so luckily I don't need them. But like I'm getting old. There's no way around it. I mean,
I just think it's your superhero thing, Dave, right? Because when you put these on, you're in game mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the opposite of Superman. But as soon as I don't normally wear them. I mean, I should do. I've been told I do, but I don't. Yeah, it's annoying. They keep falling off when you're on your mountain bike. But nice. Let's have a quick look. Kirsty, has the earthquake caused much devastation in Nepal? So that's Kirsty Ambo. So that's the most recent earthquake. Yeah. No, I don't believe so. To be honest, it's a lot of them. Nepal probably gets an earthquake once a year, probably more than once.
More than that, yeah.
And it depends sort of where they occur, sort of in the country. And also where they occur sort of within the earth. So I don't believe this one it's nothing like the big earthquake of sort of 2015. So it's sort of par for the course for those guys over there. But I spoke to Anuj today. Yeah, he's happy. Yeah, all well. Everyone's like safe and sound and stuff like that. So no, not a big issue.
Yeah, but thanks for asking though. Yeah, whenever anything happens like this, like we obviously had some fires on Kili, which was caused a lot of damage, and we had a lot of comments around that. And we know that all these countries, I mean, they're in parts of the world where these kind of things do happen. I mean, if you're in the anywhere near the ring of fire, because we're on the Pacific Ring of Fire, but also where there's any tectonic plate movements, you're going to have issues like this. From time to time, it happens in New Zealand, it happens in Japan, it happens in Nepal. But it's great that when these things happen, you can see there's a lot of comments around, guys, okay, and yeah, I really appreciate that, guys. But as far as we know, anyway, this one in Nepal had limited impact, which was really good.
Yeah.
Never nice, but yeah, that one in 2015 was something else, and was one of the reasons I went out there. But to try and help Nepal. But it wasn't. It's not that kind of level, fortunately. And I actually experienced an earthquake in Kathmandu. I wasn't prepared for it because all I had on was my pants and I had to run out of the hotel, which I'm sure a few Nepalese people had a laugh or two, seeing this Yeti run out of the hotel in only his pants. But that's a story for another day anyway. Right, Dave, what have we got next, mate?
Having a quick look.
Yeah.
So Camilla Field, are your training weekends in the UK this summer going to happen? I hope so. At the moment, I think it's all positive. I believe that we're allowed now or imminently to be able to cross borders.
By then,
I'm speaking to the accommodation people up there. So, like I said, they've only just been told that we're allowed to sort of reopen and things like that. So I need to double check with them what their sort of instructions are with regards to groups coming and staying.
Yeah.
But all being well, can't wait. Love it. Someone did ask as well, what's the rules on wild camping in Wales? I believe it's technically trespassing in Wales.
Yeah, you're not really allowed.
So you're not really allowed. So I'm not recommending you do it because it is against the law. So don't do it. But if you did, and you were to leave nothing but footprints, take all your rubbish with you, don't cause a nuisance or a scene, don't blast loud music, and basically just like no one knew you were there, then I don't see any particular problem with it. But don't do it. It's illegal.
There is kind of an unwritten rule, isn't it? That kind of camp in the dark and leave before it gets light. So it's not too long in the summer, is it? But technically, you're only allowed to do it at campsites. But I think as Saren put there, around the landowner's permission. I mean, if you're in the mountains, and I've camped on top Penavan, it's not a camp spot, but I have. I know loads of people who do, and just you want to minimize the impact much you can, which is why generally you need to stick to campsites. But if you're out in the mountains, you're all adults, you can make your own decisions. But as far as legally, you can't camp in England and Wales outside of campsites, but it does happen. And we've done it, but I'll leave that up to you guys to go for that. When you come on our training weekends, though, we do have our own accommodation, so you won't have to camp. Although we have had people who have camped before, they have come along and say, "Look, I prefer to stay in a tent," and we were like, all part of the journey. And they've done that, and I think they brought a dog along, and which was fantastic, and we love dogs on the mountains. They're more than welcome, and they obviously wanted to stay in the tent, which was very helpful, and they came along. So just what we're talking about, camping. But loads of questions coming through, guys. This is really good, and it's great to have so many people on the live. A few, just while we're talking about this, I know there's a lot of people on here. A few people have commented around discount codes, competitions, etc. Yes, I believe Lauren's put up some details there. We've had a competition to Kilimanjaro, which Marika, who's on the live, won with one of her friends. I think she's going next year or year after. Sorry, Marika, I can't remember. But you're coming with us. And to all the people who entered the competition, we did give some prizes away with some discount codes, things like that. That ends tomorrow night at 11:30. So if you are keen to jump on a trip with us and you haven't done so yet, the deposits are 50% less than normal. So they're only £100 right now. Which is pretty cool. £100 to get yourself booked in on one of our trips. And when you do that, don't forget to enter the code. I think Lawrence put it there. You've got the Kili runner-up code. We've had a lot of people who have said, look, can't make that, can't use it. I'm happy to pass it on. I know a lot of our EverTrekkers have shared it already, but yeah, if you do want to do that, it's on any trip of ours except any trip that's lower than £1,600. So yeah, you know, if you want to go to Everest Base Camp, if you want to go to Kilimanjaro, if you want to come to Ecuador with us, Machu Picchu, any of those, you want to climb one of the island peak, Mera Peak, any of those trips, Annapurna, you can book in for just £100. And as she's put in there as well, use monthly 100. So basically, if you wanted to spread your balance, you want to pay off your trip monthly, which we do, yeah, you can get an extra £100 off. Just enter the monthly 100 code when you're checking out. Yeah, and any questions around that, guys, do reach out to us. Make sure you get booked in before it ends tomorrow evening. info@evertrek.co.uk, or even just drop us a little message on our chat bot on the our chat. Yeah. I forgot what I call it now. I lost my words. But the messenger on our website. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So I had a good question from Jackie here.
Okay.
So it's quite specific to her, but it might actually, you know, a lot of people might experience it. So she's booked with Qatar to go to Kathmandu. Yep. She was due to arrive at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but now her layover has been increased to 8 hours or 9 hours. So she's not going to arrive until midnight on day one. So what that means is if you were to carry on as things are, you would miss the welcome meal. So you wouldn't, you know, by the time you arrive, you get through sort of passport control, pick up your luggage and be picked up and go to the hotel. You could be looking at early 2 a.m. Then you've got to wake up to go on the date or the following day, which normally starts at around 9. So you might be a little bit tired. My advice would be, I know you say you've had difficulty getting in touch with the airline. Keep trying because Qatar are really good. My advice would be to leave a day earlier and actually arrive a day before day one. The only cost to you would be the extra night in the hotel. But it does mean that you can arrive. It doesn't matter what time. You can arrive at 3 in the morning, go to the hotel, have a long lay-in, just have a relaxing day in Kathmandu, and then the next day is day one. So that would be my advice. If you have to change the whole trip date, like you've suggested, and the dates don't match, that would be unusual because we have so many different dates available. So we've never really had a situation where we weren't able to fit you in. And I know Qatar do flights every day to Kathmandu. So my advice would be keep trying to get in contact with them, change and leave a day earlier. That'd be my advice. Nice,
Dave. Nice. I think a few people have asked. I think it was might have been Diane as well around sort of arriving a day earlier, you know, for extra days or leaving a day at the end. And as Dave said, the only additional cost to that is an extra night at the hotel. You know, in Kathmandu, which we've you know, we've moved over. I mean, we used to use Hotel Mishangdi and Hotel Manang, but we've a lot of feedback from before. We always listen to feedback. But especially during COVID, where some of the hotels were closed, Hotel Aloft were fantastic, and we had some great feedback on that hotel. So yeah, going forward in the autumn, you know, as long as there's capacity, and you know, we do like sometimes it can be crazily busy, and we have to squeeze people in. But you know, we're going to use Aloft, which we've negotiated a good deal there, and for you guys as well, which is fantastic, and it's a bit of an upgrade really. You know, now we haven't increased our costs for that. We've kind of swallowed that, but we wanted you guys to have sort of more comfortable experience in Kathmandu and Hotel Aloft. You know, it's got a gym, it's got a swimming pool, it's got a nice bar. Yeah, it's very nice, nice rooms, and yeah, it is a little bit of an upgrade to the other hotels. But yeah, we definitely wanted to try and balance it out. I mean, during COVID, you know, which was a challenging time, you know, no one knew it was going to happen. Lockdowns came in, hotels shut. And our guys were at base camp literally the last team, the day they reached base camp was the day we locked down here in the UK. And when they got back down to Kathmandu, Hotel Aloft literally moved mountains to make sure they were looked after. And, you know, it was very, very, very nice of them. And, you know, we've got a good relationship with them now, you know, via Anuj, who has sorted that for us. And yeah, very, very good. And it comes with any hotel like that. If you're coming on a trip with us, obviously you've got to book directly with us if it's using the hotels because of capacity numbers, you know, and the relationship we've got with the hotel. You know, so if you are doing any additional nights, do let us know and we can get those. So that's before or after your trip, and we'll get that locked in for you.
Yeah, exactly. And just someone's asked as well. So it's around $80 for a single room, single person, for an extra night, and it's about $90 for a twin room per night. So, and that's we do all the reservations for you, like Andy said, so super easy. So let's have a quick look.
What else we got, Dave? What else we got?
So Carl has asked, how long before your trip do you need to take all of these jabs? The list is ever growing. So we're okay. So I take them as soon as I can, because they last several years. So, if I'm due to take some jabs, I'll get them as soon as I can. I never leave anything to the last minute with that type of thing, because I did that with my first ever trip to EBC. And when I arrived at my GP's office, they honestly told me that someone had left the fridge open and the vaccines were dead. So I ended up going without some of the vaccines that I wanted, which is not advisable. So now I always go to Nomad Travel Clinic. They're super helpful. They're super knowledgeable. They know about things like the use of Diamox for altitude.
Yeah.
They know about things like what certain stomach bugs you might pick up in whichever country. So now we always have what I call the Brad Pitt kit. And they always prescribe, I always get one of them. They've got antibiotics in there for the stomach as well. But as soon as you can, today, go and get them done.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just going through, a few people mentioned, I don't know if you covered this already, but around using Schiphol Airport, I think, which is in Amsterdam, basically going to for your trek. Yeah, I've heard really good things of it. I've been there a couple of times. I know it's a lovely airport, but it's very similar to, say, Istanbul, Paris. You got Qatar, Doha. It's kind of like a middle ground, really. So you could stop there and switch your flight, because there's no direct flights to Nepal that we know of. Obviously it's quite far away, but it's definitely a good airport to use. Just looking at Jerome's asked, do you need a poem, Yeti? Jerome, you can keep writing poems, mate. I love your poems. I love your songs. Keep them coming. Why not? You can be a poem Yeti. And you've asked about, can you gift your £250 discount? Yes, 100%. I know you're off to the US next year. But if you want to give it to one of your mates, Jerome, that's great. Share the love. And we'd love to help that person on their journey.
Surely that would be the Bard Yeti. Anyway, not the poem Yeti. It would be the Bard Yeti, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be the Bard. Yeah, Jerome the Bard. There we go. If we had a sword, we'd certainly say you are a bard. You're knighted. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question. What's going on now? So Camilla Field, I believe we've had a bit of advice of this from the guys. What sleeping bag do I recommend for EBC? Any recommendations? So both me and Andy use the Rab Ascent 700. And is that the one?
Yeah, nice.
It's still firing on all cylinders, mate. So that's a really good sleeping bag. I've used it on EBC loads of times. I've used it on Kilimanjaro in February when it was pretty cold. I've never really felt like I've wanted one that was warmer than that. Maybe on the odd night, I've put the down jacket on just as I get in to warm up, and then take it off within 5 minutes. So that's the one I would start with, and then look for any that's equivalent to that. So you're looking at sort of 3 to 4 season, probably leaning towards the 4. However, if you go into Nepal with us, we do give you free rental of a down sleeping bag. That's a 4-season bag rated for going on trekking at EBC. If you go to Kili, you can rent one for a few dollars for the whole trip. And again, it's 4-season purpose for going up Kilimanjaro to keep you warm. So all good.
Nice. Lee has asked around planning flights for Kili in October. Is it normal there are 2 stopovers going? I even saw a few flights had 3. Yeah, sometimes. I've caught flights with 2 or 3 stopovers. Look, it's probably not the most ideal situation. If you can get one that's just 1 stopover, that's what I would advise you look for. They might be a bit more expensive. The cheaper flights generally do have more stops for some reason. They're just trying to fill flights. The flights might be a little bit empty, but there are risks sometimes that then, if they are less and there are not many people on there, they might cancel the flight. So if you stick to the one that has 1 stopover, generally they will run. I've flown in planes with there's like probably less than 25% people on there, which is great because you can have a whole row to yourself without paying for business class, which I know Dave absolutely loves. Ruined flying for you, Dave, isn't it? Business class.
It has wrecked flying for me. Yeah, lucky enough to do it twice in my life. And if you go into a plane and you turn left, you enter in a whole new world of just luxury and comfort.
It is nice.
To be honest, though, I don't even care about the food. I don't care about the
Yeah.
free champagne and the hot nuts, the bottle of whiskey, the free breakfast, the coffee to take with me. It's the bed. It's the being able to stretch out that gets me. I would quite happily go without a single bit of food the whole flight if I could have a bed. But yeah, well, am I spoiled brat?
Business class.
Yeah. So Shona has asked, what's the food situation in Ecuador? Are there any, lots of food restrictions, so wondering if this is even an option for me without causing a major headache. First of all, there's no headache that's too major that I wouldn't want to take you on a trip, Shona. But secondly, no, I believe they can account for most things. Yes. If there's anything specific that you feel you need in order to supplement your diet, as always, this, take it with you. But also, if you were to let me know on an email exactly what the situation is, I'm sure we've been through this with your EBC trip, but always good to remind me, and I'll double check with our team over there just to be 100% sure. But to answer your question now, I'm 99% certain that we can accommodate almost any sort of food intolerance and things like that, because those things exist over there too. The guides are really well trained, and as long as they know about it beforehand, so they can make sure there's no cross contamination and the food is right for you, that should be fine.
Yeah, and I think although it's new to us, this new trip in Ecuador, the guys over there have been doing it a long time. So they do cater for this. They have some clients from the US already. Many clients from the US. And yeah, they're very well looked after. So yeah, we as you know, we like to choose our the people we use very carefully. But yeah, these are a great team. And Juan Carlos, who's our kind of equivalent of like a news really on the ground over there. He's a great guy, and he kind of manages everything over there for us. And yeah, Ecuador we're super excited. I can't wait to start running trips over there. As soon as we're allowed. And, the great thing is as well, even though you're going out there to do these mountains, if you're going all that way, because we'll do hopefully some add-ons for it, there's so much to do there, outside of the trekking side. Obviously, we are quite niche, we do stick to the high altitude. But if you're there and you can, go and see other things out there, then it's fantastic. So yeah, I hope that helped a little bit, Shona. I think David as well. Just while on that subject, you asked about the Great Wall of China trek. Yeah, there's if you've been with us a long time, you know that we kind of do stick to high altitude essentially, or very remote places. I'd say, like, I'm not sort of putting the Great Wall of China down anyway, but lots of people I spoke to were a bit underwhelmed by it. I think in terms of they went there and it's because it's split in sections. They were telling us that you kind of hike for like a day and then you drive and then it's another, it's very different, and it might be different depending on what company you go with. It's not something on our list at the moment. It's not really our bag. It's not high altitude. It's not mountainous. We are quite sort of niche. If it's mountains, if it's altitude, if it's cold, if it's challenging, we're going to do it. But it's not quite on our agenda, mate. But I'm sure there's companies out there. But yeah, if you want to come on the challenges stuff, mate, come with us. But yeah, have a little Google and see what's available out there, Dave. Yeah. Or you can come with us to the Ring of Fire trek, mate. That'll be fun. Yeah. But drop us a message. You got any questions, Dave? Love to hear from you.
Awesome. So having a quick look now. Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, sure.
Neil Giles. What is the £250 voucher? Must have missed this. So this is for the competition winner. So initially it was sent to those that entered the competition as a way of sort of just giving everyone a result. But to be honest, if you want to use it, that's great. Just so you haven't got long. You've got until, what is it, 11 o'clock tomorrow, and is that right, 11 p.m.?
11:30, yeah, just get yourself in, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, so if you did want to use it, just to remind everyone, Killy runner-up gives £250 off. Any other time without that code, the trip's £250 more expensive. And then we also have monthly 100 as well. So if you sign up to a monthly plan, you'll get an extra 100 off. So Neil, if you want to book it and you want to make use of it, you've got until 11:30 tomorrow. Otherwise, the price goes up, I'm afraid.
Nice. Sue was asked. Susie Bradley. Hey, Sue. Do you guys recommend any altitude courses? I've experienced altitude sickness twice and want to avoid it on EBC. Yes, it's a big question. I suppose the quick one, and I want to try and do this justice, is that anytime you go to to altitude as the first time, essentially, you've got to go through that same acclimatization process, and it can be different any time. So if you've had altitude sickness, or we get guys who have been there half a dozen times, and then they'll get altitude sickness. It can be hit or miss. But if you do, you take it slow, you drink plenty of water, you look after your body, and you keep the positive mind. Normally that'll be fine. I mean, I'm not sure if you used Diamox before. That has helped a lot of people who have had altitude sickness, and it's alleviated those symptoms, and that's helped them reach their goal. Might be something to think about. I'd also, if you book with us, Sue, sorry if I know you booked in for EBC there. Definitely, the guys at the Altitude Centre in London, you can go down there, and I'm not saying you need to do this. This is something that's a nice to have. We always say that you stick to the tried and tested. You prepare your body before, you manage your body there, and you keep the positive mindset. But the Altitude Centre, they can simulate altitude, so you can see how you feel. The thing is that although that might, for a short period of time, as soon as you're out of that chamber, you're going to be feeling better again because you're breathing normal air. So it doesn't really suggest if you're going to be susceptible to altitude. That being said, I know the guys there, they do take a scientific approach to it, and they might be able to offer you, some advice on it, or they do, because if you do go on the machine, they can see sort of your oxygen levels and how your body reacts to it. It might be that you might be susceptible to altitude. Some people are, but it's like very rare, but it does happen. Some people aren't meant to be at altitude. That being said, I'd like to help you get there. I know you're already booked in. I think, if you want to try and take it head on and do those things we mentioned there, so prepare your body before, do what the guide says, drink heaps of water. Maybe if you wanted to try Diamox, obviously we do suggest, speaking to whether it's your GP or health clinic before you start taking that, but our guides do carry it. So if you are struggling and you need Diamox, then our guys can give that to you. I'd love to help you, Sue. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, Dave? I know you've never had altitude sickness, and then you had some symptoms on Kili. It just hits you out of nowhere sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've done EBC quite a few times. No problem on Kalapata, totally fine. And then just on Kili, for whatever reason, like everyone acclimatizes a little bit different each time they go to altitude. And sometimes you can have a little bit of a rough time with it. I mean, I took Diamox. It was largely because, I did, why not? I knew it was safe. I knew that I would not have any problems with it. I knew the guides were there to look after me. And I just thought to myself, I'm just going to start taking it now in case things get, worse. I don't know whether they would or wouldn't. But my advice is, like Andy said, there's a lot you can do to kind of, to look after yourself and to acclimatize whilst you're on the trip. And that's the best way to do it. All our trips are designed to get you from sea level to the summit of Kili, sea level to EBC, with no prior preparation at home. That's the main goal. And that's how I've done all of my trips, how Andy's done all of his. There is some things you can do. I mean, I firmly believe that whatever, peace of mind is big, so if you've got peace of mind and you're not worried, worrying and stressing and monitoring every little thing, if that makes you feel better, great. If it doesn't, then don't do it. Just go and, listen to your guide. But Max, actually just commented, may as well mention it. So I mentioned I use Nomad. He said that he just received his Diamox from Nomad. If you go to with EverTrek, you get a free consultation and then 10% off any of the medication that you buy. So he's actually benefited from that as well. So that's also
glad it was helpful, mate. Sue's replied as well. No worries, Sue. Yeah, I hope that helped a little bit, and we'll get you there, mate. We'd love to. It's going to be a great trip. Let's keep the positive mindset. Let's drink plenty of water, have fun, and you'll have a great time out there. Just slow, Bistari, or Pole, if you've been on Kili. That sounds like you've been on Kili there. David has asked, a few people have got the app talking about Vamoose, which we launched quite recently. David, I believe you booked I think you booked Kili yesterday, didn't you? I think you've booked for 2023. So we're trying to roll out all of 21 and 22 first, just because those are people's trips are sort of before yours. But 2023, we're not a million miles away, especially on Kili, and you'll have access to our app. It's brand new. We haven't really sort of added it to the website or things yet. We're going to be doing that in due course, but yeah, it's something. It's it's an additional thing. It's useful. Actually, you haven't got to pay for this. It's you get the access, and it's more info just for your preparation of the trip, because we're, although you book with us and you're going on a trip, and you kind of, it's all about the trip. Thing is, you're not going until 2023, and that's why we do kind of things like this. And we have like the app, we have the planners, we have the training weekends. Our job really is to make sure that you're as prepared as you can be before you arrive, and that's our goal. If we can help you even just a little bit before you arrive, that's our goal. And then when you get on the trip, and that's all covered, and you're on your trip, mate, you're going to have an awesome time and you're going to be successful. So yeah, David, definitely, mate, you can have the app. I know a lot of people are looking forward to using it. We've had great feedback on it. It's great to see people sharing it as well, because you got a little countdown timer on there for your trip. So not too far away, mate, not too far away.
Awesome.
Right, Dave, how we doing? Actually, James got a question, Dave. He's fired this at you, and it's about boots, Dave. So I know, we can have a live all about this.
Oh, right, yeah, what's he said?
Have you seen boots from Keen called the Ridge Flex?
I haven't seen them. No, I'm gonna make a note of it and have a look. I have a pair of Keens. Is it the Craig?
Yes.
Yeah, which are pretty good. A little bit high for me, those Keens, but I wear them like when I'm out in sort of Brecon and the weather's terrible, because they're really good waterproof ones. But the Ridge Flex, mate, I will check them out, and then hopefully next Tuesday we can discuss them.
Nice, very good. Well, look, we're coming towards the end now, and yeah, thanks for all your questions, guys. If there's any, I'm going to go back through, and if there's any specific ones, I'll get in touch, ping you a reply. But yeah, thanks for joining us again. Hope it's been useful. Discussing, when we'll be able to travel again, when we'll be able to fly again. Hope we've answered some of your questions around it, and hopefully we'll have some more updates for you over the next, couple of weeks. Hopefully Bojo will have some updates for us in terms of the traffic light system. I know a few of you seem to be quite clued up with that. So yeah, it's do some Googling. Yeah, maybe I've missed it in the news, but certainly from a travel perspective, super positive. We can't wait to get back to the mountains, which we will do. It's just, just a matter of time now. Just a matter of time. I think Andy has said it's snowing in Darlow. Yeah, it's stopped here now. It's stopped here, but we can always switch it back on. I've got a nice little button here where we can finish off going. Here we go. We can finish the live in snow. Here we go.
Brilliant in April.
Well then, Neil, I'm glad you popped the cherry today, mate. You said about you're not a Tuesday virgin anymore. Great. No. I hope it was useful. And yeah, we will see you all next week.
No, awesome. See you guys. Bye.
See you guys. Love the snow. I almost want to build a snowman, Dave.
Oh, mate.